Hey, Dr. Brett here. Good morning. I'm with my co-host, Veronica Brion, from our former radio show, Open Door with Dr. Brett. And we do these little videos now from time to time because people find them helpful and informative, and we have fun doing it. So here we go.
Here we go.
Hey.
How are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
Awesome.
Okay,
Awesome.
so what questions do you have for me today?
Well, the question that I have for you today is when you are truly sorry for hurting somebody by accident, how do you actually express that in an appropriate way?
Well, I mean, just so you guys know what we're talking about here, is she accidentally elbowed me in the face this morning when we were wrestling, right here in the lip, and I'm like, I'm pretty tough about these matters, so I'm okay. You apologize plenty. I think that's cool.
But I'm talking about in regular everyday life. People tend to over-apologize.
Oh, yeah, so it's a good question about how do we apologize, right? Mm-hmm. Well, look, I mean, the key is to do, I think, everything in life. My bias is to do everything in life sincerely. So you actually have to mean it. Don't just say it. You actually have to mean it. And then I love the action. One of our neighbors, we rescued one of their dogs. Remember that?
Oh, I
and she
remember
gave me
that.
like a $50 gift certificate. Now, you don't have to be that generous. Obviously, it's very cool. But that's an action that shows gratitude, and it's pretty cool.
All right, and along the lines of that, I mean, you talk often about not just saying words, but to really put action to what you're trying to say, and that's what I'm really trying to get to. When you're talking.
Oh, so like tonight, maybe I get a back rub or something like that. That's the action, right?
That's the
I'm really
action.
sorry
Is that a
for
little-
elbowing you in the face at 6 inches away. I mean, it was unbelievable. What was bizarre about it was I actually kind of time slowed down and I could see the elbow coming, but I couldn't stop it from coming. And then boom, next thing you know, my head jerks back and everything. And I'm like, what did you do? You hit me in the face. Like,
That's not what I'm talking about.
oh, okay, got it. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about.
I can't help it. So.
What I'm really talking about is sincerity behind the words. It's the action behind the words.
Yeah.
Because, you used a really great example of the neighbor coming over and giving us a $50 gift certificate. But, you often say, I don't want to hear the words like, I love you, or I'm sorry, or
Yeah. No, I mean,
really
look, a lot of
appreciate
people love the words, I love you. I love the action of love. My bias is always towards action. Everybody's a little bit different. That's why I talk about my perception or my perspective or my bias, because we're all so different in life. But I'm a huge believer, and my philosophy is on backing things up with action. So little things that show love, right? Like, cleaning the dishes or something, not leaving them piled up in the sink, right? Or being thoughtful, filling up a glass of water for your partner. These little actions of love actually, they add up and they have real value. And then there's obviously bigger actions that we can take as well, right? By, if fidelity or faithfulness is part of the relationship, then we back that up with the action of actually following it through.
Right. It's
Right?
not always the material thing is what I'm trying to get at. Most people believe that love is material. Love is something that you give.
Yeah.
You give me a big diamond ring, or
Yeah.
you give me a big car, or you give me.
I don't know that
something.
most people believe that, but enough people believe that on some level, right? They're being, right? Again, a lot of what we experience in terms of love is related to our conditioning. So what's familiar can often feel like love, even if it's not love. So if we grew up in a household where, let's just say, it's a woman, or dad was really a very decent guy, but let's just say he was a left-brain engineer, and he didn't really show love by any kind of physical affection or attachment. I'm not trying to offend engineers, but let's just say in general he was, more of a scientist type and a really diligent hard worker, but there was an aloofness emotionally. And so she might then be attracted to a man who's aloof emotionally, and at some point, as she gets more self-aware and she wants more out of her relationships, then that relationship might not be fulfilling, and she's going to request more. And so what we're looking at as what we experience as love is often related to our early childhood environments and our early conditioning, and then as we grow, our desires may change, and we might be exposed to something new and different and want something more substantive.
What do you mean by substance?
Well, the emotional intimacy stuff, right? Someone that actually is listening and engaging and really cares about who you are. You know, a lot of times when I talk about dating and relationships, I talk about finding somebody who has a genuine interest in you. Not for 3 months or something, but for a longer period of time so you can really feel who you're with, as opposed to doing that sort of unconscious thing that a lot of people do, and they, you know, fall theoretically in love, but really they're doing some kind of infatuation situation, and then they wake up 6 months or 2 years later and they feel disappointed or disillusioned in some way. That makes sense, right?
That does make sense, and I do want to talk to you about this a little bit more, the disillusionment piece, but we're out of time.
That's it?
That's it.
This is a quick one.
This was a quickie.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.